What is up guys, WOOO here, back again with another Division 2 build video. Welcome back to today's build. This is a Firefly Burster build. Now you don't see many of these about. This is a really situational yet absolutely chaotically fun build. Now when I look at putting pieces together and builds together, I look at the skill variant and see what marries well with that piece. And again, I try and garner as much damage but also much fun element I can extract in the build, because it has to be fun once you put these pieces together. Now with this, I took this into legendaries, I took this into heroics play, and it does a shift. It really performs really well. Now what I want, and what I expect when I put a build together is, one, you want to see some high damage, of course you do, otherwise what's the point in a high damage skill build? And this provides that in abundance, but also guys, it is situational, so something to bear in mind. It won't work on every mission, it won't work in every aspect, but when it works, it ticks along very, very nicely. This is my Firefly Burster build for PvE, and of course guys, if you enjoy the video, you enjoy the content, you know what to do, thumbs doodle on that like button. Thumbs up guys, it helps. And if you're new to the channel, put the WOOO bomb on the sub button, ding the bell to be notified when I upload my shizzle. Let's WOOO this. Guys, this is the build I'm talking about. Let's take a look. Boom, boom, boom. Here it is. This is my Demolitionist Firefly Burster build, and it is fun. Again, as always, builds are open to interpretation. This is something that I've put together and works very, very well for me. There is ways and means you can tweak this to garner potentially a little bit more extra damage, dependent on the circumstances. Again, it'll be a different build. So this is what I'm showing, and it's goddamn bloody insane. This is Firefly Burster Demolitionist. It is 0 offensive, 0 defensive, 6 utility stats, 3 blues, 9 yellows. Let's go through this. So 726k armor, 330k health, 6 skill tiers. Let's go through the pieces. Now the mask is my Empress International 3-piece. And again, we know by now, if you're looking for a skill build, that Empress International is perhaps the best 3-piece brand set to go for. Don't go 3-piece explosive damage through Charm Light. Don't go 3-piece skill damage through Wyvern Wear. Go this. Go Empress, because what are you getting? You're getting skill health, okay? For your stationary skills, that's nice. It also works well with the striker. That 10% extra skill health is good. Then you have the 10% skill damage. Again, we know that. Great to have on any skill damage build. Then you have skill efficiency. Break that down. The efficiency is your skill damage, your skill haste, your skill repair, status effects, all by a percentage. Guys, trust me, the 3-piece is strong. So I would root for this. Get the 3-piece together on any skill build. You will reap the rewards. Now what I've done with this, because again there's no status effects on this build, there's explosive damage and there is skill damage, and you don't need any status effects. What you need in terms of pieces is skill damage. That's going to make so much chaos in PvE content, especially for those big fat chungers. They're going to go boom, and then you have some armor regen. Armor regen is nice. You could go skill haste to get your Firefly back even quicker, but you'll see you don't need it on this build. Armor regen's good. Hazard protection, as always, is handy. Armor regen where possible, but guys, yeah, this is the way to go. We do have a 12% skill haste mod as well, which is God Sausage Roll. Now the second piece of Empress is this one, and that's the knee pads, skill damage and hazard protection. Again, if you can switch out hazard protection for armor regen, that's going to help you maybe a little bit more dependent on the content. That is entirely up to you, but either or, good place. So skill damage and hazard protection. Don't worry too much about skill haste. I know a lot of people say, oh, you want to get your Firefly back as quickly as possible, but this build, you don't really need that. And again, once I show you the pieces, you'll understand. The last piece of Empress International, the gloves, and the gloves are skill damage and armor regen. Again, perfectly rolled in my opinion. That's how I would go on this build. Skill damage, armor regen is great. Again, if you can't do that, skill damage is optimal. Get it on there, and of course, hazard protection helps. Skill haste, again, is handy, but I wouldn't even think about it on this build. Then we have the exotic holster, which is the waveform holster, and that's just going to give me more damage to my skills. Again, it's a no-brainer, get it on. Skill damage and skill haste are the attributes which are baked into this exotic. Alternating current. Generate a stack of 3% skill damage on one of your skills every second, capping at 10 stacks. After 10 stacks at the cap, the stacks transfer to your other skill. The process then repeats ad infinitum. And guys, yeah, we know this is just going to keep switching between skills. That's more damage for my skills. So guys, I feel this is the way to go on this build. It is just so good. Then we have the backpack. Backpack is China Light Industries Corporation. And get it on, guys. Get one piece China Light somewhere on your build. Somewhere. Because the 15% explosive damage is just too good not to use. You've got to get it on. Trust me. You have to have 15% explosive damage on this. With this is skill damage, skill haste, a 12% skill haste mob. Again, I'm at the point of optimizing the skill haste on there to make it a little bit better. But again, 0.6% is nothing. So don't worry about it. Tech support. Skill kills increase total skill damage by 25% for 20 seconds. Perfect. You could go combined arms. Of course you can, which is great. And that may garner a little bit more damage. And I like combined arms. That's one of my favorite talents in the game. Tech support on this build is very much getting cover, and the skills will do the work for you. You've got your Firefly burster, will give you that explosive damage, and you have, of course, the assault turret that puts in the hard graft and gets the kills that make sure that tech support is procced as often as possible. Hopefully never dropping, which is great. Again, combined arms is a good option, but you have to keep shooting and make sure you're tagging NPCs. So that's something to bear in mind if you want to go this build. Go with tech support, I feel, is the best way to go with setup. Now the chest piece is Wyvern Wear. Guys, you've got to have one piece Wyvern Wear. Skill damage 10%, no brainer. This is skill haste, skill damage, which I'm currently optimizing, guys, and it's going to cost me a foot. I will get there eventually, but again, it's 1.8% of skill damage, which is zilch really. It's not a lot. Skill haste 12%. Tag team. The last enemy you have damaged with a skill is marked. Dealing weapon damage to that enemy consumes the mark to reduce active cooldowns by 6 seconds. And the cooldown of that is 4 seconds. So guys, very, very simple. Very simple. You're going to get your Firefly back very, very quickly. And I mean very, very quickly. Once we look at the skills and the cooldowns, you'll see it's crazy. Deploy Firefly. Cooldown enters. Tag an NPC. What happens? The cooldown drops. Happy days. And then you might be able to just squeeze in another one. Yeah, so he's just back. Crazy. It is so OP tag team. It is great for your skill variants that offer, again, such a stupid cooldown of 25, 30 seconds. Think cluster mines. Think Firefly. Then what that's going to do is reduce that cooldown and make it viable for anything, any content. And this makes this build viable because of tag team. It's so powerful. Trust me. Okay. That's that piece. You could, guys, again with this, you could use two-piece Grupo Sombra. What are you going to miss with that? I mean, you could remove the Empress International. You could remove the waveform. But for me, you've got to have that skill damage 10%. You've got to have that China Light on there as well for 15%. So for me, I like the Empress International because it offers you so much more. The skill haste, the skill damage, skill repair. It gives you so many more options in terms of building and changing and chopping your skills about. You don't have to use the skills I give you. It's a template, a very bloody good one at that. So then you have the waveform holster. I want that on there. I want that on there, guys. I truly do. And not to mention, this is easy to farm for then using the two-piece Grupo Sombra because you need some God Sausage Roll skill damage on there. And, of course, so you can re-roll the main attribute, the core attribute to, of course, a skill tier. But, guys, this is the easiest thing to build. And this is the best way to go, in my opinion. It's so convenient, and it's so damn good. Weapons, capacitor. There are different options. You can use the test subject if you want to. That's up to you. I like the capacitor. Why? I like the stacks. I like the extra damage. It's just, yeah, it's a no-brainer. For me, I use the capacitor. I love the capacitor, and it is my favorite exotic in the game. Yes, it is. Capacitance. Shooting enemies builds to a stack of 40. Each stack grants 1.5% skill damage after 5 seconds. Stacks decay 1 per second. So that is an extra 60% skill damage. And then for each skill tier you gain, 7% weapon damage, an extra 45% weapon damage, 60% skill damage. Why wouldn't you? Get it on, guys. The baked in mods on these are not changeable. They are crit chance rounds, crit damage, and weapon handling. This, I rarely use this, but sometimes I switch to this just to get the last kill to proc, you know, it overcharge. So you have that in your arsenal. Future Perfection. Weapon kills grant 1 skill tier for 19 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. Weapon kills at skill tier 6 grants overcharge for 15 seconds. Overcharge cooldown is 90 seconds. So again, this is highly viable. I use it not as often as I should, in all fairness. Sometimes it's quite difficult once you're in the heat of the moment to quickly change using the Y button or wherever it is on console, PS4, say triangle, I may be wrong, but then to switch it to your secondary, get the kill, then switch back. I'm more focused on rooting and tooting, shooting. So, but yes, this is viable if you do that, and it works very, very well. Crit chance, crit chance, crit chance, and then rounds. And we know me by now, guys. Backup boomstick, it looks nice. Don't use it. Yes, it's there for show. Okay. Then, guys, let's take a look at the skills. We'll start with the skill that does the graph, the skills that make my primary skill tick over, and that is the assault turret. This does all the hard yards. It has a cooldown of 12.2 seconds. Yes, this could be a little bit less, I know, but I don't care. It's in a good place as is. The damage, 33,890. That's nice base damage. That's tasty. And then we have, yes, skill tier 6. In terms of mods, 10% skill damage. You want duration and you want skill haste. You could go for skill health to replace duration. That might do a little bit extra, but still, I like it out longer. And it never goes down unless I pick it up. Simple. And then you have the primary skill, which is the Burster Firefly. It does 3.240 million damage, which we know that's base. That is base damage. We're doing 5.5, 6 million on this. It's that powerful. Again, what you need to do is make sure, 1, capacitor, get the stacks up. 2, waveform. Once that, again, flips to this, you know damage is going to be high. And, of course, tech support. Getting them kills. What happens? Firefly Burster, a lot of damage. This is an underused skill variant, but also very situational. So it's not perfect for every scenario. But once it's working nice. So clusters, small clusters of NPCs, you're going to see absolute shit show of NPCs. You're going to blow them up. Now, when there is far out spaces, if it's not enclosed areas, you may struggle with this build. Remember that. And of course, against 1 NPC, 2 NPCs, you're not going to get the max amount of damage. More enemies with this build, the better it's going to be for you. Because 1, you've got the max targets. You've got 10 targets in theory that you can spam this Firefly to. Then you have, not to mention, the damage, the skill haste, getting them back quickly. If you're on an open map with 2 or 3 NPCs, you may struggle from time to time. But in closed areas, this is where this build will absolutely wreck. It will wreck. It will give you so much damage in return. It's fantastic. So yeah, try it out, guys. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, that's the way I go personally. And then we have, let's look at the stats. Again, as always, every skill build video, don't worry about these. You're shooting marshmallows anyway. And again, it's nice to have that little boost from the weapon damage on the capacitor, but still, it's not enough to hit very, very hard. It is what it is, guys. Trust me. What I need to focus on, guys, is your talents. Then make sure you are synergized with the build. You have a little bit of armor regen of 9850. It's not perfect, but it's enough to keep you going. That's the way I'd look. Is get a bit of armor regen on there just to keep your survivability as high as you can get it. Again, knee pads, hazard protection. That helps a little bit. Depends on the scenario and what mission. But armor regen is a really nice option, really nice place to go to. Then we have, let's have a look, my hazard protection is 20%, my skill haste is 101%, beautiful. Good place to be with this build, really good place to be. It is a very, very solid build for any content. This will shine in the hardest of contents because of the explosive damage, the Firefly, the damage it outputs, and not to mention we know the assault turret is absolutely freaking awesome. If you wanted to be diversified with the skills, again, what I would do in terms of my secondary being the assault turret, change for the striker drone. Really nice way to go. Again, what you need to do is play to the tag team strength. So make sure once you tag an NPC, switch to another. That's an option. But again, I'm telling you how you roll with this. Personally, I go with the assault turret. I think that's the best way to go. But it's so optional how you roll with this. Personally, I love this build, so much fun, and gives a slot in my loadouts for Firefly builds because they can be super powerful in the right situation. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. You know what to do. Thumbs doodle, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.